Greetings, flesh creatures. It is I, Megatron. On behalf of TFYLP, I want to congratulate you for listening to the most refined collective podcast on this miserable little planet Earth. Yes. Here you'll find knowledgeable fans discussing every aspect of Transformers and beyond. Now, enjoy the show while I continue my path to complete conquest of all of you miserable biological entities. Predacons, terrorize!
Hello, welcome to TFYLP episode 420. We are live tonight.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I know, right? Yep. It's March 1st. It's gonna be party here, so
We haven't had such a fun number for our show in like 10 years.
yeah, I know, right? I should have done something more celebratory, but you know,
Just tint us all green and we'll be fine.
there we go. So yeah, I didn't even really think about it until I was calling out the show. So tonight I have with me Christian
What's up?
and Nick.
Hello.
And Peter.
Forever Destron, man.
and then back from whatever haze he's had, Paul.
Hello. Back from the dead.
So yeah,
I
so
never
Paul,
died.
hopefully you're getting some sleep there, right?
I didn't feel tired until I logged onto this. I gotta say. So not because just
Robots will do
coincidental.
that to you, man.
Yeah.
You're only dead for like a week and a half. You got 18 more years, man. You
Yeah.
get some sleep.
If I was in a punk band, I'd be like, "I'll sleep when I'm dead." But like, I don't think
This
it's
far
quite as
away.
much fun.
So,
My oldest is 15. If we want to play games with that, so
Oh my
yeah,
goodness. I
yay!
need to ping you for some advice.
Here to help.
Thank you.
And Peter, I guess they're saying in the chat you're the only one without facial hair now, currently.
It's because I can't grow it. I'm broken.
Oh.
I get these rando patches like here and here, and that's about it. I can grow a mustache sometimes.
I believe I still win.
Yeah. This is it. This is all I get. Everything else is patchy, like Peter was saying. That's all I get.
You look like, what is it, Dark Glass? Nick?
Shadow
Shattered Glass. I
Yeah,
was going for the
that's
Star
right.
Trek one.
Well,
That's
that
pure-
was
Dark,
Mirror,
is it
mirror.
Dark Mirror?
because there's a
Mirror.
rumored Shattered Glass toy
Mirror,
line coming
mirror.
this year. That's the point of the
Is
period.
the Beast Wars one Dark Mirror that didn't happen?
That's Dark Glass.
That's Dark
That's
Glass.
Dark Glass. See,
Yeah.
whatever. That.
By-
Evil Nick.
By Christy Marks, allegedly, who wrote the story
Allegedly.
Bible for Gem.
Mhm.
Gem and the Holograms, which got folded into the Unit E shared universe in 2012.
Yes, that thing that definitely existed.
Totally exists.
Sort of.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Totally.
And we can all celebrate our anniversary of getting a haircut.
Oh God. Yeah, I got a haircut for Toy Fair last year. That was the last time I had a haircut. So
I broke the rules and got
I
one
hate
in
it.
I got one in September before I started my job at Costco. So I had one haircut in the last year.
So as you know. Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah, I just decided to see where it can go. So see how this ends up.
I may fully try to commit to the back swept ponytail look in a couple weeks. We'll see.
There you go.
What do you guys think? I'll do the whole man bun thing.
I think it's perfect.
Well, glad someone votes for it. I really toyed with it the day I got the haircut. And I was like, I don't think this is gonna fly at a job where I have to be in person.
And see, after you're there for a while, you can just be like, yeah, you know, whatever. I'm the quirky guy.
I only work once a week, so I'm already quirky enough.
So yeah, so tonight I guess the topic is kind of stemming from an article that Peter posted earlier this week about I guess this guy's assertion of the difference between ultra collectors and regular collectors is that they set up parameters to which they would never be done. I guess is that kind of the
It says that, utility is the point when you are a so-called ultra collector. The whole thing is
he was doing
nihilism.
ultra completist, I think is what it was.
Yeah, something, yeah. Yes, because he made the distinction between completist or completionist. Whatever.
No, he said those were the same. I read it last night. I'm
the article was bad, and he should feel bad.
It wasn't that bad. I liked the definitions he pointed out of, ultra collector as a specifically defined thing, as he put it, was I kind of made sense of that. I sort of liked it.
So let's run through those definitions before we get too much further in.
Yeah,
sure.
So, if I remember correctly, he was saying that a completist or completionist is someone who aims to get all of the things in a defined set. It can be done. It can be all of the bots like me. It could be everything that's in Siege or Earthrise, whatever.
Yeah, we've talked about how like that can be your own set.
Yes,
you can define the set. Which whatever a lot of us do.
Every piece of it.
It's like, but you keep changing the rules, and he's talking about the ultra completist like takes the rules and like expands them forever, essentially. And I'll let you say it in your own words because you did such a good job.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. Those are the words. Ultra completionists expand the rules such that they can never realistically be finished. Therefore, they can enjoy the hunt forever. There's not really a defined set. The set is open. So those are the definitions we're working on. That's what this article said. That's what we've been talking about. That's what we're going to talk about tonight.
I found the article somewhere. Someone shared it. I saw it shared somewhere. I don't remember where now, but I found it and I shared it. Did I share it to the group or did I just share it on my page?
You shared it on your page.
Okay. And then there was a discussion. And we were the heads in it, plus Rick. But Rick's not feeling well, so he'll be out for the day. But he would have been a good voice to have on here too, because we all are completists in our own way, and we all have pretty expansive collections, and each of us has our own sets of rules. So. I know personally speaking, I have my rules and I have my lists, and I keep making new lists that interact and interweave with other lists, and then there's schmacks, which is just a problem. and I go on my digressions where it's like, oh, I'm buying mask stuff for the next month and a half, or I'm buying G.I. Joe, or I'm chasing Motu, or whatever I'm chasing, my distractions. And I sometimes I lament with my partner here, and I'm like, so what do I do when I finish this or that set or this other thing? She always, you will find something. You will come up with another set or another thing or another, I don't know, pursuit to pursue. Yeah. So when I read the article, we've joked before that these shows sometimes can be therapy for the various members of the cast. And this article was screaming in the sides of my skull, and I had to share it. And I was happy for the feedback that I got, because there were a couple different voices that I appreciated, couple different perspectives. So, yeah, it really resonated with me. So, run, guys, play with it.
All right.
Without the specifically, this guy was talking about Hot Wheels in this article. I just want to point that out. Mm-hmm. That and he kept bringing up a specific collector. So I wouldn't say this was the most scientifically or professionally vetted article of all time. It's also from 2017. But it did like make us all discuss, like Peter was saying. So like it has its merits, but I wouldn't like it caused a discussion, but it's not like the pinnacle of the discussion. The discussion's more important than the article.
Yeah.
But
Agreed.
the thing that he brought up was a Hot Wheel collector that was chasing, when he was bringing up Uber collectors or ultra collectors, beyond. And the reason he says that is it's beyond completionist. You can still be a completionist, but beyond that, because this guy is collecting almost every version of this one particular toy he can find, because the greens are like a nanometer off color-wise from the last one. And they showed a photo that had 3 different colors that were different, but he said like a lot of them you can't tell. So like
you can't tell in pictures, but you get them anyway.
Oh,
yes.
So like weight one. So like weight one transmetals with your pinks and your purples and your blues. Yeah, 2 or 3 different Rhinoxes. Yeah, let's play.
Yeah.
Just got the second Rhinox about a month ago, 2 months ago.
Nice.
I just fell down that rabbit hole.
Thank you, Peter, because that's exactly what I was trying to do, was like relate specifically to the Transformers stuff. So are there any other things like that? I mean, I know box variants,
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to say. The packaging variants, like I know that you guys had talked about the recent Kingdom, that like some of the packaging has the flap that's plastic and some has the cardboard flap. And so that's where you guys were saying that, there's a packaging variant right there. I mean, you've talked about that a lot before. But
Primal has not just a packaging. Well, he doesn't have the packaging variant, but he has like 3 different shades of sword. There's a silver, there's a bony colored one, and then there's an unpainted white one. And you can sort of tell by the stamps, the date stamps on the backs of the packages.
Ooh.
But you can look using your light on your phone. You can look kind of in the window and compare it to the white tone on his chest to see which one you're looking at. So it's not something that you.
Which Primal? The first one?
The first one. No. The Kingdom.
The current one, the Kingdom one.
Oh,
yeah.
Friggin'...
So you can see in the package. It's not something that's a surprise. We have had variants where it's a surprise in the package, and you just don't know. It's Schrodinger's variant, which sucks for a mint and sealed package collector. But there are things like the Transmetals where Megatron came in purple, pinkly, and blue.
Bluish?
Bluish, yeah. Primal came in the same colors of bluish, the purplish, and the pinkish purplish funky. And then Rhinox came in 2 colors. Air Razor came in 2 or 3 different colors. There were things like what was it? Hunt for the Decepticons. Pterodive had a translucent cockpit and an opaque cockpit that you could see from the package. Jazz from Reveal the Shield had you could see his blaster in the tray. You could see his blaster out of the tray.
Beast Machines Optimus Primal had the running pose
and the straight
pose famously.
Yeah. Then you had the bent nose Jetstorm versus the straight nose Jetstorm. You had Tankor had 4 different box variants depending on if you wanted to count twist ties as a variant. There was Energy Blast, it said on the top of the package. There was Torpedoes, it said on the top of the package, and then there was Torpedo with is blacked out on the top of the package. And then Torpedoes had 2 different styles of twist tie holding it down, whether it held the claws open or closed. Cheetor was in the mega-sized Cheetor was in a crouched pose in the box with the twisty ties, and then sort of in a standing upright pose in the box with twisty ties. Once it's open for the Cheetor and one of the Tankors, you can't tell.
What the fuck am I doing with my life?
Hey-o, welcome to my game.
So what you're saying is you relate to this article.
Like I said, it resonated. It was screaming at the insides of my skull and trying to get out, and it was telling me that, hey, even though it's not vetted, it's not scientific, it's just one guy's insistence that this other I'm that other collector in this case, and I know I'm not alone. So it was it's there. It exists within each fandom. I'm sure they're like for Mask. You've got your European variant. There's slight deco differences. You've got your short masks versus your long masks for He-Man, whether they're made in Mexico or Taiwan or China. Yeah, you can run down rabbit holes in almost any franchise, and it gets, if you want, Diaper Crotch Joes versus seriously
I remember the
25th Joes.
stuff.
Yeah, 25th had the Diaper Crotches You had Banana Stalker. All the variants. If you want to chase variants and you want to chase 0.0s and 0.1s on your Star Wars and your Beast era stuff,
don't do that.
do it.
Don't
Get
do
in
the
there.
Dotto one. There's no fucking difference, and who cares about Sayalt Mare versus Sealt Mare? Who cares?
There's a difference because it's in.
There's no difference. There's no value difference. There's no rarity difference.
There is a rarity
They're garbage
difference.
figures
There
that are
is
worth
a rarity
nickel
difference.
apiece.
The
Don't
0.0s.
collect the variants on those.
Oh, I'm not saying on the Power of the Force, but
Well, I was specifically talking about Power of the Force.
oh, okay. Well, I'm talking about Transmetal 2
talking.
Black Arachnia and Transmetal 2 Cyber Shark.
There's still no difference.
My 0.0s are a lot harder to find than my 0.1s. The 0.0 Transmetal 2s that have the Roman numeral 2 are harder to find sealed than the 0.1s with the
Yes.
Arabic number. So there are cases to be made where, yeah, the toy is identical. The toy is completely the same, but if you want to chase those packaging variants and you want to have this and this and this and this and this and this and say, I not only have a complete set and all the toys, but I have a complete set sealed and all the variants of that set sealed and all the colors of the variants of those packages of those sets sealed. So I've got rock blisters, I've got smooth blisters, I've got 0.0s, I've got 0.1s, I've got all the colors. You know, you can do that.
So Catherine asks, is an ultra collector someone who collects variants then? And I would say no, because I think that there are some people that maybe like they only collect certain characters, like character collector or whatever, or that they may, you know, have a smaller collection. And so then they may have some of the variants. I don't know. What do you guys think? Or do you think
I'm
that...
gonna say in short, yes. In long, not just that.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Like, I don't think anyone would doubt that Paul is an ultra collector, but he's narrowed his focus to a handful of characters.
But in that handful of characters, if he wanted to spiral out and have, he just bought, he's not here to speak to it, so I'm going to speak for him. He just bought one of those McDonald's St. Louis Happy Meal toys from 1985. He bought one of the bumblebees. Now there are 6 different bumblebee colors available. And so there's 6 of those. He bought one. It's the one that's the inverted, you know, the black and yellow, because they didn't make it yellow and black. But that's a bumblebee. If he wanted to chase more bumblebees, he could chase more bumblebees. If he wanted to, you know, because he is a bumblebee collector, if he wanted to chase every piece of bumblebee merch that has ever been produced, then Paul will never, ever run out of bumblebees to buy. Right, Paul? You're muted.
No sound.
So, muted.
I think I know what you're getting at, and I'm gonna agree, even though I missed it all. I think I know what
you were my use case for this. So
basically, we said that you collect a smaller subset of characters, but you're still an ultra collector because you collect every variant within those characters.
I mean, within reason. Yeah.
But if you wanted to make a case for just going down the rabbit hole, like you wanted all, all the things, you could do that.
I definitely do it with Starscream because the collection's pretty much complete. So I could call it a day and just be collecting new stuff that came out. But every once in a while, I see someone being like, "Hey, I got my TM box, no gray border Starscream from Canada," and I'm like, "The what?" You know, now you put a name on it, and now it's like, oh, it's something different. And that, I would definitely say that fits the bill for the you know, beyond completionist collector, and so that part of it
ends.
Well, I mean,
you've made it so
end.
It will never end.
Yeah, I mean, it pretty much doesn't, but I mean, there's still a hope that it does. It's like, you just hope that more stuff doesn't keep showing up that's 35 years old.
Yes.
which was Nick's point.
And right? I'm here specifically to argue against Nick's point because I think it's a dumb point to have. So, Nick, what is your point that I'm going to immediately shoot down? That I'm here specifically to shoot down.
I have very specific rules about what I collect, and I'd be the happiest boy in the world if they stopped making Transformers tomorrow, and I could just catch up and bring it to an end and be done. That's what I want out of life. I want to be done. I don't want it to go on forever. Going on forever. Yeah, I'd rather just finish what I got, you know?
So my question is why can't you just say, I'm only collecting the first 35 years of Transformers, and then I'm done. Like
that's a different point than I've ever had for you, Nick.
There's every possibility that at some point I may do that. When they start making terrible toys, I may come to that decision. But for the minute,
when the brand is
1984,
when the brand is 70 years old,
right?
You'll make that decision. Like, I've cut out the last half. I want the first half.
Look, if I get if I get that cyborg body and I get to live forever, then the collecting goes on forever.
Given your profession, I find it hard that those words come out of your mouth that you want the toy line to end.
Oh no, I'd love it if it ended. I'd be happy. That'd be great.
That's incredibly selfish of you, and I think you need to change your ideas rather than try and get the world to change its own.
Look, I didn't say like it's gonna happen, but I'd be happy if it did. There's nothing wrong.
You
with
have to think about what you can control and what you can't control. You can't control if Transformers ends tomorrow.
No,
you can't
that's
control
right,
your
too.
behavior to it, and you choose not to.
Look, the line has taken a break before. It could happen again. It'd be nice. That's all I'm saying.
The line took a
When
break
is it
for a
taking a
year and a
break?
half. From 1991 to 1992 and a half. It took a break.
It took a break so I could be, born and stabilized.
And some of us weren't taking breaks during that period. We were like, you know what time it is? Time to mop this stuff up.
It's catch-up time.
Catch-up time.
I'm 10. I got an allowance. I'm mowing lawns. I'm going to buy all this stuff. No one's buying it at Walmart. It's just sitting there while people are buying turtles. I'm buying this.
Since
the line takes...
Transformers coming to an end is never going to happen, let's talk about what I think is a valid thing to collect, and then what I'm not collecting. And basically, if there's a variation in the mold, I'm buying it. If there's a difference in the paint, I'm probably buying it. If it's a stupid box variation, and it's not like, oh, this is Earthrise and this is Siege, if it's like the same thing, like, I don't give a crap about that. I don't know. That's the other thing I'm not doing. I'm not doing all the Japanese stuff. I'm only doing the Japanese stuff when the figure is different. So I have created these very specific, I'm not doing this twice sort of thing, because I'd rather go wide than deep, I guess. Or deep, well, you know what I mean.
That sounds
I
gross.
like how you say that package variances are stupid, but paint
I'm aware of
variations are running change or something like that, or like they just
but
throw in a
Black
different
Beast
color
Wars
sword.
Prowl versus White Beast Wars Prowl are very different figures. I don't give a shit which Seeker's packed on the left or the right. I don't care. But like, I don't ever need to go down that road. So the moral of the story is that Peter's going to win someday, just by attrition. Peter will win. That's how it's going to go. I might be ahead for the minute, but that's not going to last.
My count's not done. I've been on. I sent you the thing. My new account started. I've been doing my inventory for the last 2 years,
Like
and
Ed
I'm at.
McMahon used to say, you may already be a winner.
Hey-o. But you said something in your well said. While I say things poorly, in your argument, you said, I make the rule where, and then there was an ellipsis, which was kind of the point of the article. And we've talked about this before on previous shows where we each make our own rules or whatever. And I lost my point. Someone jump in and save me.
Is it about me changing my rules over time?
No.
It's about you changing your rules over time?
Well,
And how you have basically no rules?
I had a question about that. I was wondering, have you guys moved your goalpost further as you've gotten down and said, oh, well, I'm almost done. Like, like Paul, say your Starstream collection or whatever, right? To where you're like, okay, I've amassed almost all the Starscreams or whatever. Now I need to, like, all the ones that I thought I was going to in my head. And so then now I need to, like, expand to package variants or something like that, or whatever it may be. Or I need to, like, I said I was going to do all the US ones, and okay, now I have all the US ones. So I need to start doing Japanese ones and ones from South America and like whatever.
I've changed the rules for what I open versus what I don't open, and that's it. The rest has been consistent.
I need Peter to
roughly
talk.
96.
He's
Peter,
gonna go crazy.
go before your brain explodes.
I actually just said my brain's going to explode.
Yeah, we
But
noticed.
So I finished Generation 1 with all instruction booklets and all tech specs, all accessories US in the mid-90s. And I was done, and it was cool. And I'm just got it, and it was cheap. There were a couple of Gen 2 things that didn't exist.
Right.
That, whatever, that's never going to happen. And Beast Wars, as long as I stay current with this Beast stuff, whatever. And then I got bored because it was easy to maintain over here. And okay, cool. So I buy, and by the time RID rolled around, now I'm buying doubles. Because if I want to play with one, I'll buy the second one. And then there were package variants for all the combiner limbs and stuff. They were slightly different, like it was packaging variants, and that's when I started chasing that sort of stuff.
Packaging variants on the spy changers. Yeah.
Exactly. And then Energon, everyone from the dark cards were released later as red cards, and all of them were re-released as red cards and red boxes that you'd already purchased. Now, luckily, I was going through a divorce at the time, so I didn't get to buy all of them at the time. So I get to go back and get those. And then there were the card variants in the Energon packages that had from the Fleer set. Remember those?
God,
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah. And that's a different collection entirely. So then you have to have the Pat Lee card. You've got to have all the Energon packaging variants for your Armada card set. And they're in the Energon packages. And you have to buy extra packages from. So it was just like, and in the middle of all that, nonsense, I got bored and decided I'm going to go back and buy Gen 1 again in package.
Oh,
Yeah.
And it's going to be great. And at the same time, I was already, I was into the Japanese stuff. By the late 90s, I already had a box Deserus, a box Star Saber, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And so it was like, okay, so now we're going to play this game, and we're going to rebuy Gen 1 so we can keep what we love active. Because that stuff's harder to find. Just maintain currency here, buy doubles when I want to, chase the Japanese stuff, chase Gen 1 packaged, and BotCon. We're going to BotCon all the time now, so we got to chase all the variants of all the convention stuff. SDCC is happening, so let's have some fun with this. And yeah. And that was before I met all you guys.
Can I time you out right there? Because you said something interesting there, and I want to ask you a question about it.
Go for it.
You said, let's have fun with this. Is it fun for you to do it in this way?
Yes.
Because if I did what you do, I would drive myself insane.
I think it sounds fun. Honestly, I can see the fun. I know exactly what he means when he says, "Let's have some fun with it." So
it was fun when I could afford the Generation 1 stuff, and like the morons who showed up and paid too much and jacked all the prices ruined everything.
2007.
Yeah.
2007 happened, and they bought up everything, opened everything. They opened everything. Hey, I don't even know what this is, but I got it online. Oh, this is stupid old lame old crap. Sell it. Wrecked all the
the AFA ruined all the box stuff too.
And the AFA ruined the box stuff.
Never happened in toys.
Which makes it even more challenging now to get all the things that you've been chasing because you have to find it.
I don't like challenge.
There's nothing wrong with AFA.
Everything is wrong with it. Everything is wrong with it. Everything is wrong with toy grading. It's a scam. It's a scam that suckers fall for. It was originally perpetrated by people just selling back and forth to each other at inflated prices.
Let's move on.
And they were in bed with Wizard Magazine. And it's all a scam. All toy grading is a scam. Don't fall for it.
Okay, Peter, please continue. You had gotten up to the point where it was before you had met any of us.
I hadn't met any of you. And
you hadn't even spread your wings yet.
I'd been going to conventions for years by that point. By the time the first divorce rolled around, we were already off to the races and having a manic happy party. But 2009 is where it broke. And it just turned into 2009. I found Schmax. The worst thing you can do for me, is give me a checklist. Because my brain sees these boxes without checks in them. And it needs...
I got to check that box.
I need to check that box.
On this, we agree.
This box says I need that package. This box says I need that variant. This box says, oh boy. And then I'm not competitive by nature. Like, I don't go around. I'm not comparing my numbers and schmacks. And I mean, I am. I keep track of what's what. And I
still are.
I am. I'm watching.
That's how we met.
This is how we met. I'm not watching it though to be like, hey, guess what? Doodly do. Although you're a special case. Because I watched you in the group, and I watched you go from like you weren't even on the list, and you went, who the hell's this guy? All right, let me reach out to this guy and let him know I'm watching him. And so I did.
At least Athenia has brought me friends.
Yeah. So the checklist became not a problem, but it changed the direction, because instead of just wandering through the boards and seeing what these rumors are, oh, I got this variant and that variant, nothing's documented, and boards are flaky and weird anyway. There's an actual checklist with photos and quantifiable, chaseable lists. So I mean, it's all in my head, most of it, but a lot of it was helped by those checklists.
It's nice to help visualize what is in your head and what's out there, because there is not really a comprehensive, scoreboard, other than that's kind of what it, tries to be.
Right.
But that's the thing that I really enjoy about some of the ultra completionists with this hobby is, and I know Rick has mentioned this before about, kind of being like an archivist for the hobby. And that's where, like, I appreciate it, because there's things that I don't know, that you guys would bring to light, or that Maz would bring to light, or Bryce or whoever it may be. And so that's the thing, and like where you point out some of these differences between, like, the re-release of, whatever thing has this slight variation, and you would have no idea.
Oh.
We have no idea because you froze in the middle of it.
We lost everything you said there.
Oh,
it was frightening.
I don't know what happened. Where did you?
Something got re-released.
Yeah, something after Maz and Brycey.
Oh, just that, you guys documenting some of these variations that, the average collector would have no idea.
And even Rick and I and Nick, we all, I mean, it things come to light. Like someone said it a minute ago, that we just had no idea. Like, Rick will bring up something that I've never seen. I'll bring up something that he's never seen. And there are legends and myths and stories out there of just weirdo variants that once they become real, it's now I need it.
The closest I ever came to that was when Paul and I discovered the variant of Hip Toast and BotBots.
In real time.
In real time.
Is it me, or have there been some serious, like, BS variants lately? Like, things that I don't think actually exist and some people are just lying about for cred?
Well,
like what?
That's a great question. Because, like, there's variants and there's, like, mess-ups.
Right.
Like something getting packaged upside down, for instance.
Yeah.
That stuff doesn't matter unless
you got a sucker. Someone to sell it to.
No, a significant portion happens. So, like,
right.
Short saber long trace.
Let me bring these out again.
What's the window for people who care about that?
It's small. So, like, these, notice these a lot. You might be like, poo this, whatever. You could have just swapped them, but I got a full case of them that were swapped. Three in a case that came that way. And the only reason I noticed is because someone told me. Like, someone that I had sold one to is like, hey, did you know this is the opposite direction of the image that is on Target? I was like, what? And I was like, holy crap. And so I checked, and I was like, oh, my God, that whole case came that way.
Yeah.
So, but, like, all I have is my own. You have my word on that. That's it.
Right.
There were the variants I was talking about. Yes, the heads, exactly. There was something
There's
about,
that too.
I found the Japanese head
Chrome
in
Dome.
the American box, the Chrome Dome. And
Yeah,
I've never
they're
seen another
pre-tools.
one anywhere ever.
Right.
So,
Yeah, like
I'm
some-
thinking that's
Someone
sus.
there was
an
someone
error.
said that's honestly that's been happening a lot with the War for Cybertron line. The pre-tool head comes out, someone gets a hold of it somehow, and apparently it got put into the box.
I don't buy that. I think it's bullshit.
I think if
think it happens.
it seems like it's a 1 or 2 off situation. It's like doesn't happen again. Like,
But like when they're painted, how do they get painted?
because they mold them all at once and they throw away the extra head. So it's human error.
Right. So,
It's human
but
error
if
across a manufacturing line, so it can totally happen, but it doesn't happen it doesn't happen to a significant digit percentage of the run.
There's
So,
a
like,
good amount
those
of
don't
human
really
error
matter.
on those. Like if you watch the recent the Unicron production video where they were like just grabbing parts and throwing them in the paint mask and just going and then throwing it down the line. They're just grabbing the wrong head. They do a half dozen of them. They go down the line and then they're like, "Oh crap! I
But the
better
paint
not."
mask wouldn't match.
Yeah, it would. Unlike
On
alternate
a
universe,
Chrome Dome? Absolutely
alternate
not.
universe Optimus Prime's head in blue versus black, like the face plate's going to be the same color. Like it's not going to be a big difference.
Okay, but on a Chrome Dome where the entire face is a different shape.
I don't know, man. Like it had that Chrome Dome one, that significant specific instance you bring up, that was seen in quite a large number.
Where? I saw one.
I know I got reports of like at least a dozen people finding those. And I've seen one myself, which brings me to be like, holy crap, a lot of these must have gotten through. Like at least 100 must be out there.
I think it's the thing where somebody hears about it and then they make it. And they say, oh yeah, it's sealed. And you'll never know because you'll never touch it. It's in their collection, and it's a thing they resealed themselves by cobbling together one from Japan and one from the U.S.
The thing that I remember about those specifically, though, is that a lot of them were found before the LG ones came out.
That is the part
That's the part that makes me think it was real. Now you can't tell, but then it was like, okay, this hasn't been released. Here is this different head.
Yeah, those things are human error for sure, but they don't happen in significant enough numbers to really sure they could be mentioned, but no one should consider that like a missing piece of their collection. If they want to augment,
it's not a running change.
Yeah, if they already,
it's error. Not
like if you're an MSIB, whatever the mint and sealed box collector of Earthrise, and you already have everything. Mm-hmm. You might become an ultra collector and be like, "Oh, I heard that someone has this. I want to get it. I want the guy swapped." But it didn't happen.
Yeah, you're taking your collection into overtime at that point. You finish the game.
Yeah, you're going into beyond. You're past the goalposts and you're getting out of the stadium and you're going.
Why would I do it later and pay a late tax? I'd want to catch that on the front end.
Wouldn't
But
you?
were you not looking when it was happening? You were, weren't you?
What?
You were looking for it as it was happening.
On the variant heads, yeah.
On the Chrome Dome, yeah.
So I think it's bullshit.
But it's not bullshit because you fell for it. You were doing it. You were actively playing the game, and if you are chasing those things, like Paul said, you change the rules for your collection to get that extra thing, error or not. So,
plus, if you really think about it, Nick, the chances that you, I, or Peter will find one of those things in the wild is drastically less than Paul's and Lucas's, and even less than someone who lives on the West Coast. Because the East Coast often doesn't get stuff until the second part of the run. Or, if they do the running change, we don't get, the 0.1, we get the 0.2.
That's not true.
It takes longer to get out here than it does out there. Yes, it does.
No, we get the first shipment, but they just get here later. It's the same shipment.
I don't believe that.
That's 100%.
It doesn't mean it's not true.
Depends on the assortment. Depends on the assortment.
It just,
Phil made a pretty funny comment. He said, "Never stop, never stopping." It was a while ago, and I wanted to bring it up, but everyone was talking, and it's so funny.
Can I talk on that? I I have like defined endpoints for my collection, but I don't think my collection itself has an endpoint. Like, I want to have all of the bots, and once that's done, maybe I won't have all of them anymore, but I'll keep a select few. I'm currently working on getting all of Cybertron. That's the US releases, and then maybe I'll move on to Japan. What I'm doing now, like, my ideal collection is to have a new version of everybody that came out in G1 or everyone that's been associated with G1, like Drift and Windblade and Crosscut and Road Rage and those guys. That's conceivably can happen. If it doesn't happen, I'll be fine.
Here's the thing about that collection is that you're always going to want to upgrade to the best version of those characters.
I don't anymore, though, and that's what's changed lately for me. That's also why I wanted to be here. Because the stuff we've gotten in Earthrise, those are the figures I've wanted. That is them. Like, I don't need another Trailbreaker. I don't need another group of Seekers. I don't need another even Optimus, really.
This is exactly what I said in 2006, and now I can't decide between my Earthrise Optimus and my Classics Optimus. So
it's hard.
You may say that.
I know.
Said that before.
Where I see myself going with this is I will stop getting, everything like I've been doing, because it'll eventually repeat again. And I'll just pick up, an occasional piece here or there, and I'll be able to move on in that way. I'll never be gone. I'll never be out. But I will be less in.
When I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
They could. And you know what? If I had made the decision like you made back in 2006, just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in, would have been bots. Because that's uniquely tailored to my special brain.
Well, Hasbro knows your plan. And they're one step ahead of you.
Because they're not going to help me
worry.
complete
You
my
will
plan.
be back. They will make sure. That
Well,
is
that's why I don't have a goal to leave. I don't. That's not part of the plan. But the plan is to be, less engaged. We'll see.
But that's the thing I'm curious about is like some like where they didn't complete all of these Micromaster sets and whatnot, right? Like, was that intentional on the part of Hasbro that they're like, we're not going to complete these, and 5 years from now, we're gonna re-release and whatever, and then like at that point they'll do it, or something like along those lines, to where like, because this also came up with like the mini bots.
I think that they probably would have finished those sets if they had sold like gangbusters. But the thing that you constantly saw on the shelves were the Micromasters and the Battlemasters, and nothing else. You know what I mean? So I would wager they did not sell enough units through for them to continue.
I think
there's no reason they couldn't have done a Micromaster assortment in Kingdom as well and kept them going. But they at some point they decided to cut them out of the line. I don't know at what point in the planning stages, but they could have planned to keep it going if they had sold well.
If you subscribe to the whole "it takes 3 years" thing, they cut out Micromasters before Micromasters ever appeared on shelves.
That might be. They may have cut it short because look at how poorly
maybe.
Look at a lot of the what were they, the Prime Masters?
Yeah.
How much of that languished? What was the thing that I bought for you, Paul? I bought you a whole like 22 of them or something. Little guy was that?
Nothing. It was you bought me a bunch of lionizers.
That's
think,
it.
Or something like.
Right. And like they had them
That's for a specific purpose.
Load. Sure. But
they're still languishing over at Five Below. Yeah.
Right.
They're just sitting there.
So they clearly think that they can't move them, and so they don't.
I mean, I figure it's probably just
a lot of
as
that
easy
is
as
just inference, and it's bullshit, and I made it up. So don't take it as like I know anything about Hasbro's
Lucas is right about the mini bots in particular. I mean, depending on how you want to define the last set of Arc dudes, it took from 2006 to 2014 to finish those, with Gears being the last one. And even then, they changed aesthetics, twice, 3 times during that time. So it's not really a set. Now with the War for Cybertron guys, I'm gesturing because they're right behind me. You can't see them out of the light, but they're there. It's, there's 3 figures left to complete the art crew. Are we going to get Brawn, Gears, and Windcharger this time?
I mean,
it's so close it feels like we might, but also
you realize that it's in Hasbro's best interest to keep stringing you along and not give you a finite ending.
Oh yeah,
and keep moving the goalposts every time. Like,
But what
they know
Hasbro needs to
that.
understand
It's not an
about me
accident.
in particular, it's a one-on-one relationship. So they finish those guys, I'll still get the obscure guys. It's okay. There will be other things for me to buy. It's not a one-on-one relationship. I understand it completely. It's just we're so close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
no,
me.
That's
That's what I do. I'm not ultra. I never will consider myself ultra. I'll go after a variant every now and then. Like there's 3 variants of the deluxe Optimus that appeared in Cybertron. I'm going to go after all 3 of them because they're all 3 released.
Dude, you dipped your toe into Ultraland. Let's not forget that.
I go.
You bought a Waspinator prototype.
I did. I don't own
And
it
you
anymore,
showed
though.
it off.
It's gone
buzzsaw.
now.
It is a buzzsaw.
Technically.
No, it's a
And you
Waspinator
have
prototype.
the actual
But,
box art,
okay, that's-
like the box art.
Yes, that I wanted to talk about that too. So thank you for bringing that on.
Okay.
That is going beyond in a completely different way.
But it's still
That's-
going beyond. You created a new
going
rule
beyond.
for
I
yourself to
did.
make your collection better than and different than all. None of us are ever going to have that.
No, none of you will ever have that because it belongs to me. And that is an interesting circumstance that I've been lucky enough to come across several different times. And it's because I like this obscure Beast Wars character that no one else cares about. And they somehow kept making homages to him throughout the Unicron trilogy years. And since then, I've been able to go back and get original production art from him in various stages. I don't know how. I'm just lucky. And I'm the only one who cares about him. The market for Buzzsaw stuff is me. There's no one else.
But
I don't know.
you
But yes,
have
that's
to agree
going
that
way beyond.
it is in the ultra, not the ultra
Absolutely.
completist character analysis or description, but it is going what I'm just going to say plus ultra here.
No, that definitely is going plus ultra. In fact, I did it with
I'm into it.
Botbots
I'm not
too.
disparaging you. I just want you to let it wash
I-
over you.
I did it with Botbots too because I went after the press kits that were sent out to certain reviewers prior to the waves coming out, and I have one of the steel water bottles from that. And I don't know if I've showed this off to you guys before, but it's just a steel water bottle.
Look at that
with a
master
decal
sword
on it.
back there. That's just been hiding the whole time.
Oh,
Hey,
'cause my
Christian,
Brave Max is back there.
Aaron in the chat says he has a bunch of box artwork. So
Great. I'm glad for you.
You should.
Yeah, I
but
bet he
I
does.
don't-
I bet that Aaron does have.
yeah,
that Aaron-
the
that Aaron.
Aaron guy.
Wait, it's
Yeah.
that Aaron guy?
It's
Yeah.
that-
Yeah.
Not
I
Aaron.
might have a few.
My actual hero and idol? Yeah, great.
Yes.
If you have Buzzsaw artwork or Rapid Run from Energon artwork, let's have a chat. Because I will buy that. I absolutely will buy that.
Sarcasm, I would sell you shit. I'll buy
No,
it.
but okay. Besides it, being him, and I
I'll buy
can't
it
even
just to
believe
fuck
that
with
he's
Christian.
watching me right now. But here's the thing: I don't care about anyone else's box art collections or production art collections. I think they're neat, but it's not like I need all of the box art. That's not what we're doing here. So it's
Right.
kind of it's not a completion thing, Paul, like you mentioned. It's just me finding this obscure dude that
But
I
if
happen
you
to
had
love.
the chance to get another piece of random Buzzsaw box art,
I just
you know.
solicited 2 from my hero, so yeah.
yeah, there you go.
But there is a finite amount of that. What's really fun is that in
Well,
all
you
of my
think
moving,
there is. You think there's a finite amount. That's the problem. Like I
Well,
think
if-
there's a finite amount of Star Screams, but that's why.
I think
when I
chances
find
are
out
higher
there's-
that mine is true than yours.
Yeah,
but
of
yes,
course. But I'm just saying, it's all just
different sizes of infinity.
different magnitudes of the same earthquake.
Yeah,
I mean, technically, Starscream's on the back of every 84 package. So
Well then, okay. Do you guys remember the story in the late '90s, early 2000s of Dreadwind guy?
Dreadwind.
So there was this guy going around on eBay, and I think
Oh.
probably the early boards that was trying to get every copy of Dreadwind ever made. Like it wasn't just that he wanted all the variations of Dreadwind; he
Right.
wanted every Dreadwind, the whole production run. Which of course is an impossible thing because people are going to have them in their collections. Some have been destroyed because that's what '80s parents did. whatever. I don't know how you would even determine if you would get that whole run, because Hasbro doesn't publish
there's a
what the
difference.
runs
Guy
are.
trying to do that with Ram Man and Masters of the Universe just to drive up the price on Ram Man is the last thing I saw with him. I think he was trying
Also,
to do
like
that.
Paul Hitchens has an insane amount of G1 boxed Infernos,
Mhm.
and he unapologetically just finds everyone he can, and I don't get it, but I think it's hilarious, and it's a unique thing, and he's a notable collector, so he can do what he wants.
I'm sure after a
Still
while you're
strange.
just like, I'm just going to keep going down this road, right? So might as well just continue forward, right?
Well, and
Don't
okay,
look
so
back.
that's a good point. It's the same thing that the article originally mentioned, that you give yourself a way to keep going. And for me, this Buzzsaw stuff has been an interesting detour to keep things interesting. Because how often are you going to come across Buzzsaw pre-production art? Never. It happened, not very often. But when it does,
You did.
I did.
You did,
Twice.
and you jumped on it.
3
And
times.
good for you. That's awesome.
What's really fun is when you move so many times and you misplace one of those pieces of art.
Don't do that.
I have done it. I've been looking for it for about a month now.
So,
I'll find
So
it.
let me ask you, Pete, like, some of you guys, like, do you have this, figure that you never think is going to come up, and that all of a sudden you get an eBay alert, or you get someone in a group that's like, oh, hey, or something pops up on the Facebook groups, or just whatever, where you're like, oh my God, I never thought I was going to find this figure. And I
Of
just
course I
found
have
it. It's
eBay
here. It's in
alerts.
front of
I'm
me.
not telling you what they are. I'm
No, not
saying-
on a specific thing, but I'm just saying, like, can you share a story of when that's happened in the last couple of years for you?
I can. I mean, it's happened a few times in probably the past 24 months, and it's funny. The saddest thing about it is it's usually on Facebook, like it's some Facebook group. I'll wake up on Saturday morning, and I'm just like doop doo doo, and I'm like, oh my God, someone's selling a Canadian G1 mint and sealed box Starscream in this stupid ass group, and like I've tried to buy one of those for years, and holy shit! So I get it, because and the best part is the guy posted it 12 minutes ago, so I'm like the first one to see it that would give a shit.
Yeah.
So somehow that sort of thing has happened to me a few times, and it's always these big pieces that, like Christian would say, I'm like, I know they're out there. I don't have a list of them anywhere. It's just like, I kind of know if they show up, I'd be like, whoa, like it'd be wild to see that. And it happened twice. It was, and I think I shared these on back when it was Ouch My Wallet, but one of them was a Canadian G1 box Starscream, and that's special for box variant reasons. The Canadian boxes are completely different than the U.S. ones. They have all sorts of extra doodads and whatnot. And another one was a very nice sealed Mexican Starscream, which I had a Mexican Starscream sealed that I didn't pay a ton of money for, but it was someone had written on the box, and it was, it wasn't great. But that box is cool because it says Decepticon Commander Starscream on it because lots of stuff got lost in translation. So anyways, those were big dollar items. Those are hard to find, and I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. And Christian, I think it's kind of cute how you're to the age in your collecting where you're like, oh, this kind of thing never appears ever. Oh, just you've only lived so much of your life, my friend. At some point, they start appearing, on Saturday and then Monday afterwards, and you're like, uh-oh, I just spent all my money and I got to do it again. So,
I'm a very patient boss. At some point, things will come through.
They do, and it sounds so stupid. It sounds like so hard. Like, yeah, right. This things never show up, but like,
it sounds like old man wisdom, like poo-pooing. It's not.
Yeah.
It happens. Things show up when you're least expecting them. Weird things that you never thought were gonna pop up. Like, how many times did we see the Gen 2 Protectobots and Stunticons change hands in the last 5 years? How many sets are there? How many times have they just shown up on eBay? $35,000. Like, I don't have that sitting around, but people sell them.
I'd argue that perhaps they're cursed.
I bet they are.
I bet they cause divorces.
I bet that's true.
that
like-
could be.
If we go back to my example, the buzzsaw, the prototype and artwork I bought earlier this year, since I didn't know those existed, it wasn't like I was hunting after them. It wasn't like that's the next goal, but it's if you happen across it kind of thing. Which I don't know if it's different than an ultra completionist or an ultra collector, or if it's the same. It's just a point I'm making.
It's a level up above the casual who's going to go and I want all the Energon figures, or I want all the Earthrise,
I wouldn't even call that person a casual, but
I feel like I have a hard time. Like, I almost don't want to tell, like, you guys, like, the figures that I want. Like, I'll have a chase figure that it's like, well, I'm hoping that this shows up a few years from now or whatever, right? But then if I tell you guys, it'll, like, you guys will find it for me. And then you'll be like, here it is. I present it to you, sir. And, like, I felt like that was happening, like, when we went to TFCon and, like, when
Are you saying
conventions
that
happened,
we're terrible, horrible enablers?
Whatever, but it was one of those things where I was like, oh, well, here's my list, and you guys are like, okay, hold on, like, let me go, sir, like, let me
help you.
Let me help you. I'm like, no. I was hoping to get one of these, but now the fact that you've, like, presented them all and you've helped negotiate for me so that it's now a good price.
Been there.
And then because, like, I feel like every year at TFCon, I'm sure you guys, when you go, that you're like, I'm going to be better this year than I was last year. Like, I'm not going to go crazy. I told my wife already, I don't have I didn't bring as much luggage space and whatever. And then somehow you guys, help out.
Luggage space. You got to ship that stuff home, dude. Find the local post office in a big old box.
Right. Exactly.
I didn't buy anything at the last TFCon in wherever we were.
I don't believe you.
It
doesn't mean it's not true.
I didn't buy anything. I just bought lunch.
Yeah.
And a bunch of shelves that I returned to Home Depot.
No, you bought Astro Train and Bumblebee 2.0 Masterpiece.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. Because I played with them in your room. It was well before they were released. You got loose copies, and you were playing with them. You paid money for them.
I didn't buy them at the show. I brought them to the show.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to sell those, Peter. That was the difference.
Is that the difference?
Yeah,
okay.
I did.
It's a fine line.
I bought stuff on the way. I bought ratchets and I bought.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I do
that
remember you buying ratchets.
Nope, it counts.
I was selling those.
I told you. I knew it. I knew it all along.
Doesn't count. I didn't buy it at TFCon. Okay, but sure, bust my balls, please.
Only because we love you.
I'm just saying, it is possible to get away without buying stuff. But I mean, I was there to sell stuff and hang out with my friends more than to find toys. So luckily, I had like something else on my mind. Otherwise, I'd feel like, why the hell did I come here if I didn't buy anything? Like, how silly is that?
Pretty good at the last couple of TFCons compared to how I used to be at BotCon. So, and then,
but you've been selling. You're a seller too, though. So that you have your mind on other activities. Is all I'm saying.
I am less able to walk around and find things. Can't buy it if you're not staring at it all day. Yes, I did rope you guys into buying me some stuff, and I thank you.
So I want to. We talked about my box art stuff. I want to talk about some of the weirder stuff that you guys collect, because Peter and Nick, I've done this for both of you. Like, I'll find 4-year-old boxes of Valentines at the Ollie's or something, and I've got to grab those for Nick and Peter because they collect them. So, like, we've talked about the variations of toys. We talked about my weird production art that's like obscure and very niche. But, like, what about the just vastness of licensed items? Do you draw a line there? Is there a line? What is that line?
There is. We had someone, just as an example, we had someone reach out to us very recently because at the dentist,
can you repeat that real quick?
Is it the Dark of the Moon stickers?
For a second.
Someone we knows someone else that works at a dentist
office.
Yeah. And
when the sticker you get for being a good boy. They're Transformers ones that are officially licensed.
I have a full set of
He
those.
was nice enough to get us a full set each.
Wait, is it the Dark of the Moon ones or is it something else?
There's Dark of the
Something
Moon
else.
ones.
Exactly. You see?
I'll dig them out and show you.
Woo! You ever want to sell those? We'll Rochambeau you for them.
I mean, that's the
one
thing I
set,
just
so,
am amazed by. Like, when you guys, and Rick has shown it too, where you have all this food packaging, you know, that you have. And I remember, I think you had that at TFCon. Like, wasn't there some, like, I don't know, it was snack cakes or something like that, or some.
There are 2 different variations on, I think it was the most recent Tasty Cake, snack cake things. There was the DVD release and then the film release in theaters, and they did the promotion twice. And so I have the boxes from both times. And yes. And I have the Hostess snack cake boxes, and I've got the soda bottle labels from one of the other movies. And, ooh, those are cool. I think I have that.
Yes, I got you this a year ago.
Yes, okay.
Remember, this is a Dark of the
I was
Moon
confused
thing,
by
though, and I bought it in
sticker
2020.
on the front of it. Is that not supposed to be there? The hollow?
Nope.
There it is. That's it.
Fun
That looks familiar.
pockets.
Yes.
We have those.
Fun pockets.
I talked to
Because I happened to be at an Ollie's, and I was like, what the heck is this stuff? And Nick and Peter definitely need it.
Pockets
It's
of
gotten to the
fun.
point now where I usually just buy this stuff, assuming that you'll want it. I've never been wrong. I've never been wrong.
And we thank you for it.
Like, I don't think there's a way to define that you would know that existed until I found it, or you found it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing anytime I walk into, Dollar Tree or Dollar General or whatever the hell. I walk in and I see stuff that never gets posted in the boards or the groups or whatever. I pick it up every time.
'Cause
Calendars and
collectively-
crayons and tchotchkes and keychains and whatever. What were you saying, Peter?
I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm cutting out anymore,
No,
but
you're good.
like
Go ahead.
the community at large, the boards and Facebook and all that stuff, they don't care about that stuff, so they don't report on it. It never gets revealed. So it's up to us, we intrepid few, to find these things and document them, because they do go on Schmacks and then they get rejected by the admin because it's not. Yeah, that's a paper product. We don't do paper. Yeah, we don't do paper product. It's like,
So what do I do with all my Valentines that come with glow sticks? The glow stick isn't a paper product.
make a note. You have your own spreadsheet. I have my own spreadsheet, and then we have the big spreadsheet. So
Right.
you got
About
it.
glow in the dark necklace.
We have glow in the dark
I
necklace.
want that. I don't have that. I need that.
Are you guys part of the? I don't know if you've seen this group. It's called the Transformers Artifacts.
I am not in that group.
It's a Facebook
I'm
group
not in
that
that
I
group
just
either.
recently found like a few weeks ago.
I'm not in the group, but all my totes that are merch are labeled artifacts.
Oh well, it's a group. It's only 100 some people in there, but like those, those are your people.
Oh, that sounds like we need to show up
Maybe
there.
check it out.
Well, I'm always amazed too, because like I wouldn't think that there would be as big of a like group that would be collecting this stuff, but I somehow know a lot of people, like like you guys and whatever, and there's a few other people on Facebook too that I know that are really into collecting that kind of memorabilia.
Like
Yeah.
I may hate the movies and most of the movie toys, but I love all its stupid tie-in merchandise. Like, I don't care how bad the movies are, I am excited for things like that glow-in-the-dark necklace that was movie branded, or like, what was the...
How many variations of the handy wipes can do you have?
Oh my god, 4 or 5? I don't know.
Mhm.
I got a mouthwash set somewhere with a toothbrush and stuff. Yeah, so.
Now, is it
kinds of
exciting
stuff. Oh, yeah.
specifically because you didn't know it existed, and you're like, oh my god, it's a new thing! I had no idea I was chasing this, and here it is now.
It's exciting because it's bizarre.
Yes.
And I guess that's where it does become competitive for me.
What do you mean?
Because you might have a super sweet Dark of the Moon set, but at 1, I don't like Dark of the Moon. 2, I don't care about the set. 3, I have more of it than you do. So I win? I don't know.
Is that something you wanted to win?
No.
Okay.
I have an active interest in not winning it, but it's cool that I did, I guess. So I'm pending in that group now. I'm joining this group.
I'll
Okay.
join it when I can get my phone back.
All right, I'll go do that right now.
for Lucas's question, yes, I like when I'm able to find that sort of stuff that is kind of unknown. Usually Nick or Peter will know about it. Sometimes I find something interesting, but I pick up. I'm not going after the stuff like they are. But if I happen to find it, it's like, oh wow, look at this neat thing. Like I don't even remember where I got Dark of the Moon glow in the dark necklace. My mom probably grabbed it for me. My sister probably grabbed it for me, and that's the kind of incidental stuff that makes it mean something to me. Because my family knows not to get toys for me because I will get all of them that I want anyway. But they'll grab me, a random birthday card for a kid's 5-year-old birthday party. I'm not 5, but they'll grab me that thing. Or, the necklace or the fun pack or the Valentine's or whatever.
My mom has been magic when it comes to that. She knows not to buy me toys. She won't buy me toys. I'm 400 years old. I don't need my mom to buy me toys, but it's awesome if she does. If she's listening, you should buy me some toys. But she buys me all the weirdo merch that she can find. She's like, well, I found this and I found this. And she, Ollie's, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, wherever. And she just picks it all up. And I'm happy as a clam when I'm opening them on Christmas. It's a good time.
Right. That's the thing is like when I got Rick for Secret Santa, and I just went to the Dollar Tree and bought $10 worth of crap. And he was like happy as could be. Like, this is amazing. And like anybody else, if just a random person, they'd be like, oh, what is this? What is this stuff? And he thought it was amazing. I mean, obviously if I had gotten you guys too, you'd be the same way, but.
Right. But I think it's fun that people who aren't in it and people who aren't us can find ways to connect with us like that. Because Peter's mom and my family, they care about us, and they're showing their affection in an interesting way that makes us happy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing that's always hard is like, what do you get for the ultra collector?
Weird stuff.
Yeah.
Like I was going through, I've in trying to find that art. I'm organizing all the stuff that has become disorganized from all the moving I've done. And I found a pack of the G1 Valentines from like 2014 that my girlfriend at the time had written to me. And there's like little cute messages on the back of all of them. And I was like, oh, wow, this is so cool that she got me all of these. And then there's like a full pack. And then there's the pack that she wrote. So I've got one of each, which is, it's really neat to see, to go back and find that stuff again.
Does the Astro Train one say I choose you?
Shouldn't it?
No.
Well, they messed that up then.
Some of them were quite vulgar, which was fun.
Interesting. Was this an actual like kid set, or is this?
They had like G1 card art on them. It was cool.
Huh. Interesting.
They're packed in my closet, or else I'd grab them. Sorry, I was prepared for that conversation.
So
I probably have like 5 different boxes of Valentine's all within arm's reach right now. If you guys need illustration on this,
mine are across the apartment. So
I looked this year and I found nothing.
I've looked this year. I looked at Dollar General today in the clearance section as well, just in case they were from like last year and they showed up again. Or if you're at Ollie's, maybe you'll find a Dark of the Moon thing from 2011 show up in 2020 somehow.
Oddly,
so do you see? Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I was going to say I'm not. Within the last year, I found Masters of the Universe Classics Grayskull stands at Ollie's, packs and packs and packs and packs of them, and I didn't buy them because they were not. I'm never not going to resell them.
I know they have a Mattel deal, but it's still weird to have that show up so many years later.
So yeah, it's like 8 years past, and it's like. Neat, Ollie's.
That's the kind of stuff that Ollie's specializes in. They clear out old warehouses full of, Primus knows what.
So, do you see yourself collecting that kind of oddball stuff, like even after, like if your collection ever ended, do you think you'd still collect that just to collect something from the brand?
I think it depends on how it ended.
Yeah.
If it ends on the terms that I mentioned earlier, like if it was like, oh, I'm kind of done, but picking up a piece here and there and I saw that stuff, sure. But if it was like, okay, I am done and I have to not think about it anymore because that's the way I have to be done, then no.
I imagine that if I stopped with the toys, I'd stop with merch. Unless it was the kind of thing where they were still making G1 merch, because that would still be part of a line I was collecting, you see? But like whatever, Transformers Potato Masters or whatever the next line is, I wouldn't be buying that merch because I'd have drawn a hard line right there, and that would be the end of it for me.
Potato Masters.
But
Love
stuff
it.
like, the throw blankets that I just bought or the doormat that just arrived,
My Autobot
like that kind of stuff I'd still get. I was super excited for that doormat too.
Oh, I didn't get the doormats. I got the fleece throw thing blanket.
I did get a fleece thing. I got the doormat, and my car has floor mats
Mm-hmm.
and the seat covers.
I had the original floor mats from Hot Topic, but I used them and they got really gross, so I had to throw them out.
I still have those somewhere, and the around 2003 the Gen 1 steering wheel cover.
Steering wheel covers, yeah. I used both of those, and they didn't survive either.
My original tattoo on my back was the Decepticon insignia air freshener. I didn't have a template or a poster or anything, and it was just a spur of the moment thing. I'm like, yoink, put this on my back, and they were like, okay.
Nice.
Is it the actual air freshener?
It's
If you had a tattoo of the air freshener, that would be
package.
There's nothing like that. It's just the picture.
Okay.
And yeah.
That would be
So, I mean, do you guys ever think that you will be done, or do you think you're just gonna always keep going? Like, do you think that like at some age you're gonna be like, all right, like I can't do this anymore?
I suspect at some point I may have to be done for health reasons. But barring that, if I get the robot body, then I will collect forever. Unless I don't.
I feel like you guys are all bad influences, so like you rope me back in even if I wanted to be done. Christian would just send me an Amazon link on something, and I'd be like, all right, fine, bye.
That's usually how it works. That's how I got you to buy the same poster I got.
My wife was very excited to get those fleece throws. She wasn't really.
Yes,
she was like,
they're
what is
comfortable.
this?
I had a friend over
right?
tonight.
I was like, we need more blankets.
She came over for
It's
dinner, and she was
cold.
like, "Wow, this is really soft."
They're nice.
I think I'll be done with Starscream eventually. I think I'll be at a point where like it's just these variants, that are out there. They're very, very difficult to find, so it's not like it's tugging on the back of my. I'm not looking for them constantly. But there may be like under 10 pieces that are D1 related that I could probably say I don't have. This is like wacky stuff, like the Thundercracker in the Starscream box that has Milton Bradley on it and stuff. Like, those are they're like, there's a picture of them on the internet. That's about it. But those are also like, you hope that only one of them shows up every year or 2 years if you actually want to be the purchaser of those. So I'm almost fine if they don't happen. But beyond that, like, if I also collect Masterpiece mint and sealed box, which just I do. So if Masterpiece ever ends, that would be done. But I think Masterpiece will persist forever. I don't think they're gonna like rebrand that ever. This doesn't seem like they would. But never say never. Never say never. But, those are the only.
Paul,
I mean, I would be. I'm pretty close, I guess.
Just to say, your like internet connection's kind of crapping out.
Yeah,
your
video is shot, but your audio is good.
Yeah,
still.
so you have some really funny like pictures.
Good derp faces going on.
Good.
Yeah.
Great.
That's a good derp face happening.
Love it.
Anyway.
So yeah, I guess I might be done someday. I'd be fine with that.
I don't think I'll ever be fully out, but I think other things in my life will probably take priority, so that I will be less. And like I said earlier, I'll be less in, but never out.
I don't know, Christian. I think
Healthy.
the rest of us can tell you that you think that when you're younger, and then somehow it persists. Not for everyone,
Well,
but
we mentioned earlier that Peter was mopping up G1 while I was, an actual infant. So, yeah, I'm sure he thought he was going to be done then too.
For
I wish
me,
I'd have done that instead of buying goddamn Star Wars Power of the Force figures.
Been an infant?
What? No, buying the G1 stuff.
Oh,
for me personally, it never ends.
Nothing ever ends, Adrian.
I can't believe you phrased it that way, Peter. You've got my respect for that one.
And if Rick was here, I mean, he has stated many times that the hunt will never be over. I think he embodies that. I think his response to that article was pretty negative, if I remember correctly. But I think he took a personal affront to it.
It sounded like he did. He said, "Go back and research some more, kid," or something along those lines.
yeah, the thing I think is interesting is like I feel like that my answer years ago would have been that like I would be done, like I wouldn't be like I feel like that I'm less done now than what I was 5 years ago, if that makes sense, because I personally have kind of redefined my collection and what kind of like my goals and whatever. Like I would say I totally have moved the goalpost, whereas I feel like Nick and Peter, that you guys just from a young age just threw those goalposts towards the end of the as far as you could.
Well, you're not wrong.
Well, you got rid of all that third-party garbage, didn't you?
Not all of it. Mastermind Creation
the
still
masterpiece
has a special place in my heart. But yeah, a lot of the third party stuff I'm no longer doing. So, yep. So, but yeah, it's hard to keep up with all of it. I think that's like I feel like that if you can keep it steady, like slow and steady wins the race. Not if there's too much at once.
It's a marathon,
it's
not a sprint.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
And you see those collectors for 6 months, and then they're like, "Whoa! I just spent $10,000 on some toys,"
And ambulance.
and then they're out and they ditch everything all at once. And like, "I can't have a collection anymore, guys." And, I'll take some of that. You opened all this stuff.
You ruined it. Well, what about Lucas? If I remember correctly, you were really into G2 for a while, weren't you? Are you still like actively doing that?
Yes. I have most of what I want at this point. Like I've kind of checked all the boxes. I need to go back through because I have not, unlike Peter, I have not went on Schmax and checked all my boxes. And so I'm sure that
there are some figure variants, there are missile variants. Gen 2 is rife with sexiness that you've got to
right. And so that's where so I'm only collecting loose from the G2 stuff. So there are there are like especially the like the Dinobots are good ones where there's color variants with them. So I have multiple color variants of the G2 Dinobots and stuff. And again, that's one of those things where part of the reason that I started collecting that and like some of the European stuff is just to have something oddball so that like when I go to a convention, I have something that I can look for. And most of the time at TFCon, like I would never found it. And then like someone was liquidating like their G2 collection at the last TFCon LA that they did. And it was one of those things where I like spent a fair amount of money and then like I still there's a lot of stuff I still wanted, but I was like, well, I need to stop. So
gotta get
but
this
yeah,
Black Rotor Power Dive and Ransack.
Right. So, like, again, this collection exists solely so that I have something to chase. So that's really the main thing is that I'm not like trying to tick all the boxes. I don't have eBay alerts for every single figure that I'm missing. It's really more just a, like a hard stuff to find kind of thing. So
That's me and Cybertron as well. You guys know that I've been debating going back and forth on whether or not to do this project over the past year, and I've made the decision that Lucas made with G2 that it's a convention thing. It's something to hunt for at shows. I have most of it, just a couple pieces left, and none of them are especially hard to find, but I'm not going to go out of my way to look for them.
Get the expensive stuff first.
You got
I did.
it right.
yeah.
That's done. All done.
The non-Cybertron Defense red alert?
Loose. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'm aware of it. I'm only doing loose.
I like toys.
Yeah. So, I was going to mention for book club this week, it's going to be chapter 7 through 9 of Dark Cybertron. So they're pushing through. They're getting very close to the end. So check that out. That's Sunday nights at 8:30 on the Discord. So the link for that should be at the on Twitter and also on the YouTube, like in the description and whatnot. So. And then on Micromasters this week, we have not decided what we're doing yet, right?
We had a fan request to do Studio Series Grimlock.
Well, if a certain someone would pick up their Grimlock that they have from someone else's house.
By the way, it's not me. I don't live in
watching, right?
Kansas.
Who's probably not even listening or watching right now. It's waiting for them so that they can open it and check it out before reviewing it. So that may not happen this week, just depending on whether or not that person makes it, over. So
The shade, Lucas. The shade.
I guess what we need to do is set that and say that that's going to be so that, certain people come over and get their copy.
Well, you don't deliver?
Yeah, I guess I could. I guess. Hey, I got it already. Okay, so yeah, I guess we could do the new X-Men one, except for you. I think you decided to cancel yours, right, Christian?
I did. I'm not getting that thing.
That was one of the ones, and I haven't decided yet whether or not I'm going to take it out of the package because. Like, it looks very nice in the package. No?
All right. Well,
Paul?
fans, if you listen to Microcasters and you had to pick something other than Grimlock, let us know what you'd like to see.
We still have some Kingdom
We'll figure it
stuff
out by Thursday.
and some studio series. So
We'll figure it out by
we'll figure it
Thursday
out, but
at
that's going to be Thursday nights
8:30.
on the Facebook page. So check that out. And then we'll see if there's a cut the tape this week. We never know. It's always a surprise. So, and so.
It's March now, so we're all on Unicron watch again.
Oh, I forgot about that.
It's like in 4 weeks. I'm not worried about it yet.
In 4 weeks? It's March, baby! It's a new month.
March is a long-ass month.
Yeah, it's like 30 days.
It's like
It's 31 days.
30 something, I don't know.
I had to do the rhyme, but
Yeah,
I
me
got
too.
there.
I never know how many days are in a month. I always get February wrong, too. It's always leap year when I have to know.
Apparently, I need to open my X pants. So
Don't do it. That
luck,
thing
man.
is going straight from the box into a tote into the closet, and I'm never going to deal with it.
Oh, I hate that toy. I hate it.
I thought I would like it, and then I was like, no, I don't need this. I got it on deal because Target was running a special at the time. I got it for like $54 and a $5 gift card, and I was like, no. Even then, no.
It reminds me of the Star Wars Transformers and how they were poorly executed. Like, it's sort of Cyclops, and it's sort of this guy and that guy, and
Yeah.
Designed by Hasbro, not what you want.
Paul, do you think it's worse than the Top Gun one?
No, I like the Top Gun one because it's its own unique guy. Like it's a made up.
The dude.
It's
Yeah.
Maverick. I mean, I haven't played with the toy. I mean, I think a lot of
It's
people.
not great.
I'm throwing shade at it the way people threw shade at Maverick. So I'm kind of being a hypocrite here, but it just doesn't look good to me. So.
Repainted as hooligan.
Oh, that would be neat. And hopefully we haven't seen the end of Maverick as a toy, but maybe we have.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I really don't need another release on that figure.
They can't all be Ectotron.
Yeah, I mean the first few have been great, so it's not like the whole line's bad. It's just this is the first one I've been like, that's a miss.
So yeah, I don't know.
Grumpy.
We'll see. But yeah, thank you guys for joining me tonight. Thanks to everyone in the chat: Ron, Catherine, Zaldron, Jazzmeister, Bedford, ABC Bricks, Aaron, Peace.
Phil was in there. Yeah, that's it.
Phil. Yeah, Phil and Mr. Archer. So thank you guys for all stopping by, and we will see you next week.